Good morning, Pete. Becky and I are here this morning at the hangar, and we want to show you what's coming to you so you have some idea of how these things work. These are precision fitted units, and as you can see, there isn't much space. The engineers have asked us to put grooves up in here, and when you do the final fit, you'll layer a piece of fiberglass backing tape up in here. They also have the very ends of the grooves fluted, and that is to keep from stressing the very edge of the wire. So this is an improved version of what we initially had. This morning I took the time to separate these, and this one, for instance, is the right upper half, right lower, and the arrows denote that this is the way the Birdie should be pointed. This is to the front of the airplane. And I've done the same thing to the left, basically. And so while we're doing this, I'm going to double check everything on the airplane. Works out the lower halves need to be tapped for an 832. This is a pilot hole that's already the right size for an 832 tap on the lower halves. The upper halves, you'll have to bust them out a little bit so that you can put an 832 screw down here. So these are basically pilot holes, but this one's close enough to tap with, and this one you'll have to open up depending on what kind of screw you use. We use Phillister head screws, but you don't have to. Everybody has their own idea what works. So you could put a countersunk screw in here, or leave it the way it is and put a round head screw. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to send a few of these along with your kit just in case you want to use these. Now, this is the lower left. These are the 3 holes that are going to be tapped. 1, 2, 3, and I suggest that you tap them all the way through. Take an 832 trap and just go all the way through. Much easier that way than trying to figure out where the bottom is. Let's go over to the airplane and do a trial fitting on these for you. Okay, this is the right wing of the airplane, as you can certainly see, and this is the initial fitting just on the flying wires, and you can see the orientation, the right upper. These will be your screw holes, and these will be your threaded holes, and we can move it right on up to here, and you can see that the landing wires come out at the right angle. So this is your right wing set. Becky can go up here. We use countersunk in these instead of Phillister head, and you're welcome to do that. This is the left wing, Pete. It says left upper, and the arrow's pointing forward, and same thing with the lower one, it's pointing forward. So, okay, let's go back to the table. Pete, you can see me wrapping masking tape around the front of this Birdie. I'll do one in the back as well. You may have already guessed why we're doing this, but if you haven't, that's okay too. Okay, when we fit these Birdies around the wires, initially we want to close these with worm clamps. So that's to check that everything is tight before you put the screws in. You don't want the screws doing the pulling. And I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. So what we'll do here is we'll slice where we have to slice, Okay, now they'll come apart like they should. And when you get them around this thing, go ahead and get a couple of hose clamps and just tighten down. Now, I don't have any packing tape to show you, but what you'll do is you'll lay in fiberglass packing tape and try not to go into the fluting area, which is right here. Just limit your packing tape to right on these grooves if you can, or as close to it as you can. So there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, there'll be 8 grooves. And because these are precision machined, this probably will only take 1 or 2 pieces of fiberglass packing tape to get everything down tight. So you'll end up with this and 2 hose clamps, and then you'll wiggle this around until it doesn't scoot either way. And it may take 2 or 3 times. And then once that's all done, put it down for final and go ahead and insert your screws. I've got the holes covered up here. Go ahead and insert your screws. And once the screws are in down tight, take the hose clamps off, and you can remove the tape. And basically you're done.